Darling, please affix your signature to this marriage agreement. Should our union dissolve, your residence will be transferred to my mother. Just 60 minutes prior to our ceremony at the civil registry, Dmitri presented Katya with these papers. He harbored a certainty that she would comply, yet her response caused him to blanch. And before we proceed, kindly inform us from which nation you are observing this video. We hope you enjoy your viewing. There remained a mere 60 minutes before Katya would officially become Mrs. Dmitri. She stood before a mirror in a small chamber at the registry office, attempting to steady her trembling knees. The ivory-hued, lace-adorned gown cascaded elegantly over her frame, accentuating her refined silhouette. She inhaled deeply, striving for composure. Her heart was a frantic drummer against her ribs. A slight apprehension preceded this critical juncture. Katya, or rather Nor Udana, held on to a sliver of hope, or perhaps a desperate desire to believe. A gentle rap sounded at the door, followed by Dmitri's voice. "Yes, do come in," Katya replied, her tone betraying an effort to project confidence. Dmitri entered, impeccably attired in a sophisticated suit. The deep blue fabric complemented his appearance wonderfully. "It's like a scene from a fairy tale," Katya mused, a momentary respite from her anxieties. He approached her, tenderly took her hands, and met her gaze. "You are stunning," he murmured, causing Katya's cheeks to warm with a blush. "Thank you," she stammered, lowering her eyes demurely. Dmitri smiled and released her hands. "I have a small request," he stated after a brief pause. "There is a minor formality that requires your signature." He produced a folder from his inner jacket pocket and offered it to Katya. "What is this?" she inquired, curiosity piqued. Dmitri glanced at the folder before replying simply, "A marriage contract." The legal counsel insisted, "It's merely a procedural step, nothing to be concerned about." Katya accepted the folder and opened it to the initial page, where "Marriage Contract" was emblazoned in large lettering. She skimmed several pages, not entirely absorbed by the legal jargon. Her attention was drawn to a particular clause, bolded for emphasis. "In the event of a marital dissolution, the property located at the address detailed below shall become the possession of Irina Pavlovna, Dmitri's mother." Katya froze, as though doused in icy water, and reread the stipulation, desperately wishing she had misread it. But there it was, unequivocally stated. Her apartment, acquired independently prior to their union, would revert to his mother upon divorce. She lifted her gaze to Dmitri. His expression was devoid of any unease. He regarded her with a calm, expectant demeanor. "What does this signify?" Katya asked, her voice striving for evenness. "Well, you understand," Dmitri responded nonchalantly. "It's simply a formality. Mother desired it this way. You don't object, do you?" A chill permeated Katya's being. Mother desired it this way. Those words reverberated in her mind. She had always observed Dmitri's deference to his mother's counsel, yet had never forethroned such a consequence. She had previously attributed it to his respect for elders and his close family ties. Now, however, it struck her as deeply ominous. "Are you serious?" Katya questioned, her throat suddenly dry. "You truly expect me to sign this an hour before our wedding?" "What is the issue?" Dmitri shrugged. "It's a mere formality. We are in love. Why would we contemplate separation?" There was a subtle falseness in his tone, something Katya had either overlooked or actively chosen to ignore. She had consistently sought the best in him, disregarding his flaws. Now, with this marriage contract before her, the truth was starkly apparent. He did not love her. He coveted her apartment, or more accurately, the opportunity to acquire it. "You did not even consult me about this," Katya stated, tears welling in her eyes. "You simply presented me with a fait accompli." "But I know you love me and will do anything for me," Dmitri replied with an audacious grin. "Besides, this is for Mother. She is deeply concerned about my future." Katya turned away, shielding her tears. She felt profoundly betrayed and deceived. All her aspirations of a blissful married life shattered in an instant. The man she was about to wed revealed himself to be a calculating and avaricious individual, willing to stoop to any level for personal gain. Fleeting memories surfaced, his endearments, his promises, his declarations of eternal devotion. It had all been a charade. She was merely a beautiful facade, concealing a rotten core. She recalled how Irina Pavlovna, his mother, had always regarded her with disdain, criticizing her attire, her hairstyle, her demeanor. Katya had attributed it to the elder woman's formidable personality, but now it all clicked into place. Dmitri, observing her reaction, maintained an astonishing equanimity, as if he had anticipated this emotional storm and prepared for it. "Katyusha, why are you looking at it like that?" "It's a simple procedure," he said, approaching and attempting to place his hands on her shoulders as if the matrimonial ceremony had never been in question. She flinched away. Dmitri shrugged, feigning an expression of injured innocence. Gradually, as if piecing together a mosaic, it became clear that he was merely a pawn in his mother's game, dutifully executing her directives. This impending marriage was likely less his volition than Irina Pavlovna's. Katya rallied the last vestiges of her composure, drew a deep breath, and met Dmitri's gaze directly. Moments prior, her heart had been fractured by anguish and disillusionment, but now, seeing his self-satisfied expression, a surge of cold fury washed over her, not at him, but at herself, for her gullibility, for her blind faith in his affection, for her inability to perceive the obvious. "You know, Dima," she began, her voice steady, "I also have a surprise for you." Dmitri's brow furrowed, his eyebrows converging on the bridge of his nose. He clearly had not anticipated such a response. He had evidently expected hysteria, pleas, anything but this resolute calm. "What other surprise?" he inquired incredulously, a tremor of apprehension surfacing in his voice for the first time. Katya retrieved her phone from her purse. The screen displayed the contact for her lawyer, Igor Sergeyevich. She pressed the call button and held the phone to her ear, deliberately avoiding Dmitri's gaze. "Igor Sergeyevich." "Hello?" she said in an even tone. "Katya, remember our discussion about the marriage contract?" "Yes, that precise document. Could you possibly dispatch it via taxi at this moment? I truly require it immediately. Thank you kindly." She ended the call and turned to Dmitri. He now appeared genuinely distressed, his face ashen, his hands trembling subtly. "Katya, what are you doing?" he stammered, attempting to regain an air of composure. "Why do you need that contract now?" "Ah, Dim," she smiled sweetly. "You yourself stated it was a mere formality. I simply wished to cover all bases in the unlikely event that a solicitous mother were to lay claim to your property should we separate." Dmitri flinched as if struck. It was evident he had not foreseen such a proactive countermove. His eyes darted about. He was clearly strategizing his exit. "Katya, what are you suggesting?" He attempted to soften his tone. "You know I love you. Mother is merely concerned for me. She desires my well-being." "And you believe I do not desire my own well-being?" Katya countered. "Do you imagine I wish to face destitution after a divorce?" "No, absolutely not," Dmitri panicked. "It's simply a common practice. Everyone does it. It doesn't signify a lack of trust. It's merely that your mother stipulated it." "For you, Katya," she finished, a dawning comprehension in her eyes. At that precise moment, a notification chimed on her phone indicating the taxi driver's arrival. Katya stepped outside, collected the marriage contract meticulously drafted by her legal counsel, and returned to the registry office. She then ostentatiously began to peruse it, though she knew its contents by heart. As per this agreement, Dmitri relinquished all claims to any property, whether jointly held or acquired during the marriage. He was obligated to provide her with spousal support sufficient to maintain her accustomed standard of living. Additional clauses were explicitly designed to safeguard Katya's interests. Dmitri's face contorted. As she read, he attempted to seize the documents from her hand, but Katya adroitly evaded his grasp. "Give them here," he yelped, losing all semblance of self-control. "You don't need to sign that. It's absolute nonsense." "Is your contract nonsense?" Katya countered. "Or did you genuinely believe I am so naive as to accept your fabricated tale about your mother's concern?" "Katya, please, I can explain everything," Dmitri implored. "I merely wanted my mother to be at ease. She fears you might leave me and render me destitute." "And you don't fear that I might leave you and render you destitute?" Katya retorted with irony. Dmitri fell silent, the realization of his defeat evident. Confusion and despair flickered in his eyes. "Katya, I beg you, don't," he pleaded. "I will rectify this. I will speak with my mother. We will resolve this." "It is too late," Katya replied wearily. "I believed I was marrying a man who loved and respected me, but it appears I am to wed a mama's boy prepared to betray me for his mother's whim." She set the phone aside and gazed at him dispassionately. It is regrettable that events have transpired in this manner. She had genuinely loved him, or so she had believed, but now she perceived a profoundly different individual, avaricious, cowardly, and utterly beholden to his mother. "I will not be signing this," Katya stated firmly, "nor will I be marrying you." Dmitri attempted to speak, but Katya raised her hand, silencing him. "There is no need," she said. "The decision has been made. I am leaving." She turned and walked toward the room's exit. Dmitri remained motionless, fixated on the document. He seemed incapable of comprehending the unfolding events. He had grown accustomed to Katya's yielding nature, her tendency to compromise and avoid confrontation. Now, however, he faced a transformed woman, strong, self-assured, and prepared to champion her rights. Irina Pavlovna suddenly entered the room, her expression one of alarm, as if she had been eavesdropping. Upon observing Dmitri and Katya, caught in their mutual astonishment, the contract clutched in their hands, she understood the situation without a word. "What is transpiring here, Katya? What have you done?" she demanded, advancing. She would not fall prey to such stratagems any longer. "Nothing of consequence, Irina Pavlovna," Katya replied calmly. "I was contemplating marriage to your son." Irina Pavlovna's features contorted with rage. The veneer of feigned amiability dissolved, revealing her true countenance of avarice and calculation. She regarded Katya, and in that moment the full realization dawned. This entire family perceived her merely as a convenient asset, an extension of her apartment. They did not love her, nor did they respect her. Their sole aim was to exploit her for their own selfish ends. "I have nothing to lose, Irina Pavlovna," Katya responded, maintaining her composure. "On the contrary, I am gaining freedom. Freedom from deceit, hypocrisy, and manipulation." Irina Pavlovna lunged, attempting to grasp Katya's hand to force her signature on the marriage contract. "You will regret this," she shrieked. "You will eventually beg us to take you back." Katya wrenched herself free and stepped back. She no longer harbored fear of these individuals. She saw through their machinations and understood their ruthless determination. "I highly doubt that," Katya replied, meeting her gaze directly. "I would rather be alone than with your family." She turned and proceeded towards the exit. "Stop!" Dmitri cried, grabbing Katya's arm. "Wait, let's talk," he pleaded, his voice tinged with desperation. Katya merely shook her head. "We have nothing to discuss. Dima," she said, "you have made your choice." She pulled her arm free and exited the room without a backward glance. Irina Pavlovna's anguished cries and Dmitri's bewildered exclamations faded behind her, but she no longer paid them heed. She walked forward towards a new existence, liberated from falsehood and betrayal. She pictured Dmitri and Irina Pavlovna now engaged in a furious exchange, each blaming the other for the turn of events. She envisioned them desperately trying to devise a strategy to win her back, to compel her to sign the prenuptial agreement. But she knew they were powerless. Her lawyer would ensure they took no retaliatory actions against her. Katya emerged from the registry office building and inhaled the crisp, fresh air. The sun shone brightly and birdsong filled the air. Life continued, and this life belonged entirely to her. She was at liberty to do as she pleased, to travel where she wished, to love whom she desired. She was free. A faint smile graced her lips. She retrieved her phone and dialed the number of her closest friend, Lena. "Hello," Katya began. "I have some excellent news for you. There will be no wedding." Lena's delighted shriek resonated through the phone. "I knew it! I always suspected that Dmitri Fellow was untrustworthy," she exclaimed. "Katya, you are magnificent! I am so proud of you." "Thank you, Lena," Katya replied. "I am proud of myself as well." "So, what's next?" Lena inquired. "What are your plans?" "I'm not entirely sure," Katya admitted. "For now, I simply wish to savor this fresh air and revel in my newfound freedom." Katya paused in thought. "And after that, I intend to embark on a new chapter filled with genuine love and unwavering trust." Lena enthusiastically supported her. "I will most certainly assist you with that. Let's meet this evening. Celebrate your liberation with some champagne." "An absolutely brilliant idea," Katya exclaimed. "Our usual spot, of course. I shall await you there at 8 o'clock. "Agreed. See you then." Katya ended the call, a confident smile gracing her features. She knew everything would be all right. She had endured betrayal, yet she had not succumbed. She had emerged stronger and more self-assured, ready to embrace a future brimming with possibilities and adventures. Later that evening at the cafe, Lena was already anticipating her arrival. Upon seeing Katya, she rushed forward and embraced her warmly. "Well, tell me everything," Lena exclaimed as they settled at their table. "How did the wedding go?" Katya recounted the events at the registry office in meticulous detail. Lena listened intently, interjecting only with occasional frowns and nods. "What utter scoundrels!" Lena declared indignantly, once Katya had concluded her narrative. "I always said they were not suitable for you." "I know," Katya smiled. "Thank you for always being there for me." "Nonsense!" Lena waved a dismissive hand. "That's what friends are for. So, how does this liberation feel?" They clinked their champagne flutes and took a sip. Katya felt a comforting warmth spread through her. She was happy, she was free, and she knew that a truly fulfilling life awaited her. Somewhere in the distance, genuine love was undoubtedly waiting for her as well. A love that required no contracts or guarantees, but was founded solely on trust, respect, and sincere affection. A love that would bring her true happiness.